are a community, a service community, a non-governmental community. We are poised at capacity training and capacity building. And also we are focused on one of the SDGs, which is SDG 4, quality education. Also SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth. SDG 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure and goal. Then SDG 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. I'm going to be giving more explanation about how our operations, how they are rooted in these SDGs. We are dedicated in connecting people to global opportunities of all kinds, ranging from funded scholarships. We do that by posting. We have an online community, a WhatsApp community, and also a Telegram community where information as regards scholarships, funded partial scholarships, different certification, professional certification. So we have a community where that is being done, online sharing of information that regards that, even paid summits. I've been a beneficiary of one of the paid summits that I went for here in Istanbul. And some other people also have been a beneficiary of this. Anyway, I think we'll be talking about some of the testimonies we got over the last month. All right. So this is just a brief introduction, just in case someone is here and who's not aware of what Bank of Opportunity is, or who's not aware of what PDT is. Probably the person just came across the flyer online and like, hey, what is this? So that is why we do this at the beginning of every of our meetings. So as I said earlier, we share informations about scholarships, paid conferences, paid summits, top-ups, internships, jobs, local and global, immigration matters, and a host of other life-changing opportunities. We do not only connect communities with these opportunities, but we also feed them with capacity building by holding these trainings. Now, this is a PDT training that is being held every 2 months. Okay, this training is for a specific set of people, not specific as that. We have different projects, right? So PDT is like a project, one of the arms of operations under Bank of Opportunities. So this meeting, in as much as we want other people who are not even part of PDT to join, but PDT meeting is actually established kind of for people who are members of the PDT. So PDT means personal mental and the personal development track. So that's why we are here. This is especially for those who are part of the track. Other people who are not part of the track can also be a benefit. Can also benefit from this. So we set up trainings monthly. We have next year the main training will be the main conference rather will be coming up next week. We'll be having the same speaker that is coming today. Also next week is going to be talking about how to prepare yourself for your career developments. So our goal is to leverage on keynote speakers, successful people from all over walks of life who have practical experience and can share their failures and successes, mistakes, and things they got right, and not just motivational speakers. We don't want people that will just come and bamboozle us with some English words. We want people with the life, with the experience that can guide us through. And you would also agree with me that the different conferences we've had in the past, they've been so rich and so detailed, so detailed. So that is what we stand for. We don't just want any motivational speaker to just come in. We want someone who has a life, who has the experience. So we believe this will get the best of people harvested for their own sake and the community at large. And conferences, they are done free of cost. This is our own way of giving to the community. And we believe when we do this, the community gets better, the country gets better, and the whole world gets better. So one of the things we are committed to do is why we are here, the reason for our gathering, and we'll be talking about something important, which is how to ace your public speaking. I am really anticipating to what the speaker is about to give, because I want to get better in my public speaking, and I'm very sure we also want to do that. That is why we are here. So I'll be talking briefly about our phases of operation as a community, as an NGO. The phase one in the ladder of our operations, in the vision of our operation, of our community. The first phase is sharing opportunities of different kinds, which is what we've been doing. As I said earlier, we have different online platforms for that on Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp. And the phase two part of it is capacity training building. Panelists will come to share at least once a month. And that is what we do on a monthly basis with the Bank of Opportunities Conference. So we also have mentorship, training, and sponsorship. Yeah, I think last month we announced that one of our students, or one of the community members benefited from the scholarship, where we were able to sponsor tuition, last tuition for our education. So that is part of what we offer as a community. We offer mentorship. Now, this PDT, personal development track, is also a form of mentorship, where we try as much as possible to give necessary information to people that can help their personal development. And that is why this meeting is holding today. Then the phase three of operation is on-ground physical involvement in community service by members in different countries. This is our vision. We have planned. This is part of what we hope to achieve as time goes on. Of course, there's a process to it, and we believe we will get there by God's grace. Then the phase four, we have young people doing great stuff that can challenge others out of their comfort zone. They'll be invited as panelists to share with people. Now, the end goal of this PDT is not just to keep dumping information. We want it to come to a point where a member of this track would be the next panelist. Yeah, that is what we want. We don't just want to keep giving and keep giving. We want a situation where at the end of the day, one of the members of this track will come up and give out of what we've given to other people. So that is what we are focused on. So they'll be invited as panelists to share with people one or two things that they've achieved. They can also create platform and display talents that they have. Then also, I'll be talking briefly about BOO projects, Bank of Opportunities projects. I just talked about the phases of our operations, the phases of our vision. So the BOO projects, we have BAS, which is BASFY, which is Bankola Kifolarin Scholarship Foundation for Youth, BASFY. So what is BASFY? BASFY, it's a project. All right, thank you, Mr. Shegun Adegunsoye, joining from Benin. It's awesome to have you with us tonight. Okay, the arms of BASFY, one of the arms of BASFY is we are tailored towards education. It's a project tailored towards education to cater for students, for students who are in need of payment of tuition, transport, living costs, and all those things, accommodation, monthly stipends. We have a lot of people, a lot of students that are going through different financial troubles just because they could not afford to pay for their tuition or afford to feed and things like that. So this project is coined towards that need. So we also created this project to also cater for school dropouts. I mean, students who drop out of school because of lack of financial resources, but those who are still interested in education, in studying. Then also under BASFY, we also cater for students who have passion for tech, but they can't avail themselves for the training due to financial constraints. So we also have LRF, which is the second project that we have. LRF is Landmark Rescue Fund. It's a one-time rescue fund on two levels. The first level is certificate year education. This is a kind of project for people who are in their need of financial resources academically. Like the last students that benefited from this, what she needed was just was tuition for her final year. So that is what LRF comes to do. So we have miscellaneous. This is to provide financial support to those who are in need, like unpaid medical bills. Okay, those who probably they've been treated, they've been ill. I mean, they are fine, they've been healed, but they just need to clear the bills before they get discharged. So that is what LRFs also caters for. Then we have BEV. I'm going to run now because of our time. All right, so we have a BEF now. BEF is Business Empowerment Scheme. This is a project for people who are jobless or are in need of support. Those who need to support to start a scalable and right. Okay, those who have like a scalable business idea, but they need funds to establish it. So that is what BEF was established for. Then also we have PDT. Yeah, PDT is a long-term intensive coaching with monthly training to enhance. Okay, sorry, not monthly now. It's been changed to once in every 2 months, and that is why we are here. This is PDT. It's also a project that Bank of Opportunity runs. So so PDT, personal development track, we kind of give information, we guide people on how to get better, to develop themselves, to be better for themselves in all areas of life. Then also we have the talent harvest and development scheme. Under this, we have people who they don't want to go to school, but they want to learn skills. I mean, there are people who are not interested in going to school at all, but they would love to probably pick up a skill and things like that. So we help to cater for all those people. And for brilliant students who lack financial capability to further their education also. So that is what Talent Harvest and Development Scheme stands for. So these are the projects that we have for now, and we believe that as time goes on, as God strengthens and empowers us, we are going to be bringing up more projects so as to give back to the community as much as we can. So right now I'll be introducing the team, the stronghold behind the community, as it were. So Aderonke Oyewole, I'm the project coordinator and the compliance officer. Then we have Mr. Bankole Akinfolari. He is the founder and also is the PDT director. Okay, can you say hello, sir? Thank you. Then we have Mr. Segun. I think is not with us now. Okay, he's with us. Yeah, Mr. Segun Awodele. Mr. Segun Awodele is the media manager and also the on-ground team lead. So I'm not sure he can come up on video now, but yeah. So these are the people behind the Bank of Opportunities, and we trust that more people would join us as we need more volunteers, we need more hands. So I will hand over now to Mr. Bankole as he'll be leading us in this conference. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Aderonke. Thank you very much for that introduction, very extensive. Thank you very much. And once again, it's good to have everyone here. This is the second edition of the Personal Development Track conference for the year. So the first one was held in January, and this is the second one. It's a 1 in 2 month training for specific individuals, like Mr. Aderonke said, for people who have registered their interest in their commitment to their personal development, which is a separate project from the general book community. So the general event for the whole book community is coming up next Saturday, 30th I hope you won't miss that, and you want to invite as many as you can get. You want to invite them to be part of that conference next Saturday. So that one is going to be the general one that involves the whole book community. So this one is just a specialized kind of training for specific individuals who have registered their interest in their personal development through the PGT, which is just a fragment of the whole book community. Okay. So once again, you're welcome today. I would also like to say this before we move on, that what the things we come here to share with to talk about together, these are things that are not, they are not things they are not things that you can easily get just anywhere for free. The conferences we've been doing, our trainings and all of that, they're free, but they are free for a reason. This is a community development service that we are rendering to people, and also reaching out to the community to like a kind of give back to the society. But you need to see what exactly we are after and what our passion is also all about. Our passion is all about you getting transformed and also affecting other people's lives by what you learn from this platform. That's our joy, because it is not coming cheap. Actually, what comes to the community is not coming cheap. Okay. And it matters how much profit you get from the information we share with you per time. Just yesterday we got a particular testimony from one of the members of the community. I was personally excited about it. On a daily basis, we share opportunities with people on the General Book platform every single day. But how many of these opportunities have you personally taken advantage of? I was personally excited about it yesterday when one of the members of the community shared a testimony with us. One of the opportunities we post on the platform, she took advantage of it, and then she got hired. She got a remote job online. She got a remote job online through that platform, and she was so excited about it, and proceeding from there, based on the response mail and all that. I was personally excited about it. And then she said something I can't forget. She said, I would take the platform more seriously now. Okay. She said, I would take the platform more seriously. So it's not a joke, actually. It matters what you make out of the opportunities we're creating for you on the platform, in the community. What we can do is just to create the opportunities for you. What you will do for yourself is to take advantage of the opportunities we have created. Okay, so that's our joy, and that's also that's what we delight in. And specifically, that leads us to the essence of coming here today. Public speaking is something everyone needs to improve on. Everyone. You can't, the higher we go in life, there's this mentality, which of course it's a correct one. There's this mentality, there's this thought pattern that the higher we go in life, the higher we move, the better we move from writing to speaking. When you're at the lower phases of life, primary school, secondary school, you do more of writing than talking. Do more of writing, talking, and all of that. But when you move higher, maybe university, first degree, you do more of, it be a bit of talking than writing, kind of. But when you move to the master's level, you do a lot of talking. When you have to make presentations here and there, you have to do, case studies in the class, you have to talk, they just want to know the stuff you've made of. You have a conference to attend, you have a seminar to attend somewhere, you have to talk. So you do more of talking than writing. When you get to the PhD level, you talk and continue to talk, you talk. So as you move higher in life, you talk more than you write, actually. So you see that public speaking is something that everybody has to master. Of course, at different levels. Some have taken it as a profession, that they practice and feed with it, but everybody has to master it. Okay, there's no human being that is not a talking spirit. Every human being is a talking spirit. And then it's important to master the art of talking. And that's why we are here today. It's at different levels at various degrees. And it specifically delights me personally, and also the book community, as far as the admin is concerned, that the kind of favor we've had, and then the kind of advantage we've had to land this caliber of speaker today in our midst, Mr. Gershom Okonda. I'm going to be introducing him very shortly. I've met him personally in Kenya. He's a Kenyan and is based in Kenya. It's a we won't take it for granted actually for him to have been here to talk on this platform for free. Please, I'm not mincing words. Please, I'm not mincing words. I mean what I'm saying. And that's why I've said those things, that whatever people will bring on this platform, they are not people that are on a normal day. If you want to attend their meetings and you want to sit in an atmosphere where they give a talk, then you pay to listen. People who have attended conferences where I've had to pay. I paid my ticket fee. I paid for the conference. I paid for the hotel. I fed myself. I transported myself within the country. So I've done these things and I've paid. So I know what it is. And in those conferences that I've visited, what they give there and what we are giving here is not inferior. I can tell you that. It's not inferior. It is not. I've attended conferences, paid conferences, so I know what I'm talking about. So the speaker we've had we have in our midst is someone who is a well sought after speaker who has an intimidating record. I'm going to be introducing him, talk a bit about his educational background and achievement thus far, so you have an idea, just a speck of thought as far as his profile is concerned. I've met him personally in Kenya, like I said, and I mean, they just gave a yes to the invite, just because it's a kind of give back to the society. Otherwise, this event wouldn't have been free. Okay, so he had his bachelor's in commerce and marketing, and also higher diploma in marketing and management. And then he has a practical experience in team recruitment, in training, mentorship, and business admin. Then he's also an accredited ICM trainer and a member of the Chartered Management Institute, CMI. So he's also a member and consultant at the Institute of Certified Administrators, ICA. So he's a chartered, he's a certified administrator, he's a member of the ICA. So he's also been awarded an International Ambassador of Peace by Martin Luther King. Okay, I'm sure we're all aware of that. We all know Martin Luther King Foundation and Global Peace Federation. So Mr. Gershom also has served as the president of World Youth Assembly in Geneva, that's Switzerland, between 2010 to 2016. And he's also the founder of DS Max Foundation, and is trained and mentored over 63,000 young people into entrepreneurship in a space of 20 years. Okay, between 1998 and 2018. Now, so begin to process what we are talking about. So there's a journey, there's an experience, there's an expertise. Okay, so Mr. Gershom is also trained over 150 companies and government agencies, including learning institutions, over 150 of them. I see him, in trainings, training government officials here and there, institutions, companies, and all of that. And and his trainings are always very interesting. Quite interesting. So he's also the lead project management training consultant with Global Training Institute, and also is the programs director at Go Training Consult Limited. He's a man of many parts. Looking back at all what I've talked about thus far in just one man, You want to agree with me that we are so privileged to have this individual to speak to us tonight from the wealth of experience he's had, he's gathered over the years, not just experience alone, but achievements. You know, it's possible to have experience in failure without achievement. We're talking of someone who has both experience and result to show for it. So it gives us a great pleasure to welcome in our midst tonight, Mr. Gershon Okonda. Over to you, Mr. Gershon. You're welcome.
Wow, thank you so much, my brother Bankole. I don't know how to pronounce the Nigerian names. You know, East African and West African, how we pronounce them is different. But thank you so much for welcoming me. And the few who have just joined in, my name, as we've been told, is Gershom Okonda. I'm hoping that we're going to really have a lot of fun, enjoy, learn, and more importantly, network in the small screen space that you are in, so at least we can become better people. You know, better people means better results. Better results means company growth. Companies growing means the economy is growing. And it starts from your personal pocket to your family growth to organizational, then national growth. So we are not here just for the purpose of wasting time, but to see exactly how much value can we be able to add to each other. Before we move on, if you would allow me, that I'm going to spend only 45 minutes of speaking, if not less. But before we go there, I would really appreciate, I might have logged in late because I was having an issue with my network, but I'm sure right now, once I switched, I think it got a bit better. You might have done an introduction, but just for the purpose of knowing whom am I speaking to, apart from Bankole, my brother, whom I know I've met in 2 different countries, in Kenya and in Kigali, Rwanda. I know we've met several times. Could I be able to just get to know the rest? I know we are not many participants. How many participants are we? We are 9. So yes, 8 introductions and not even 8. Actually, since Bankole is already there and I know him so well, the remaining 7, could we just do a name and what do you do? I mean, yes, I would really appreciate. So even when I coil my conversation, it will be revolving around what you go through on day to day or what you're intending to go through on day to day in the near future. Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening to you. And if your Wi-Fi or whatever bundles can allow you to have a video, well and good. But if you can't support,
Oluwasegun Adegunsoye, I'm from Nigeria. Yes. I work at a rubber producing company, natural rubber producing company here in Benin, Nigeria.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the industry will be very good, or the industry or the sector you are in, it will really add up value to me even when I'm speaking.
I really do not understand this sector I'm in. What you mean by the sector I'm in?
Your kind of job that you do, which sector are you? Are you in, which sector of the economy are you in?
I mean,
banking, and one is in petroleum.
I'm in agriculture, and I'm in latex and rubber producing side of agriculture in Nigeria.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
So maybe you can call names so people can come up one after the other.
Okay, fine. So let me go to who. As I told you, pronouncing your names, man, it can be a really hassle. Olubukola, did I get it right?
All right. Good evening. Olubukola by name. I'm a nurse and I work in a public sector Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, whoever is ready can just move on. Olwaseye, if you are there, we can hear you. Who else is there? So that we don't waste too much time, I think it will really help me to know which sectors of the economy we are in, or if you're a student, all that. I know why I'm asking that, because my examples I want my examples to resonate with what you do on your day to day.
Yes, exactly. It's gonna help. So the sector where you work is gonna help to get the training more tailor-made for you. So it will touch everybody, so everybody will learn. So it's for the benefit of everyone. Miss Oluwasheye, so if you can hear, okay. Okay, I think she sent a message.
Okay, I can see that. She's saying can't unmute. Well and good. Who else is there? Aduomi, Emmanuel.
Thank you. My name is Adewumi Manuel from Nigeria. I'm into construction. I'm a site engineer.
Okay, construction site engineer. That's very good. Okay, is there anyone who's remaining? I think we're almost getting there.
Yes, I think Abimbola is here to speak, right? Yes, Abimbola.
Okay.
Hey, good evening, sir. I am
Good evening to you.
Abimbola. I'm a medical doctor doing my residency training.
Wow, thank you so much. I think we've had all of them. Is there anyone remaining?
Yes. Okay, so I think we only have the admins left now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So
okay, we have
thank you so much.
Okay, so we have one person joining now. Akonji Michael.
Okay, fine. So maybe he can just introduce himself very fast, then we can be able to get started.
Yes. So you're welcome, Mr. Akonji Michael. So basically, everybody is introducing himself, your name, where you live, and also what kind of job you do. So it's going to help the trainer to tailor his training around your profession too. So you can just quickly introduce yourself, your name, where you live, and then what you do. Akonji Michael. So maybe you can continue. So maybe when it's ready.
Okay, fine. So as I plan to speak this evening, I'll appreciate if you can be able to allow my my slides to be shared. I don't know, so that at least if I have a few slides here and there, I can be able to share them with you.
Yeah. Yes, you can share, please.
Share screen. Let me see whether I can be able to capture it.
Yes, you're a co-host, so you can share.
Okay, good. Can it be seen?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Well and good. So let me see whether I can be able to I'm just setting the screen from this end to make sure everything is done and it's done right. Okay, can I be able to enlarge that? There. Oh, good. Now, I'm sure I was invited here to have a conversation with the audience on a matter to do with public speaking. And of course, from what you can be able to see there, it will involve a lot of a conversation around building the confidence and conquering the fear. Those are two opposite forces, the confidence and the fear, they are always in conflict. But before I go there, allow me to second just what Bankole said earlier, that as you progress in your career path, you realize that there'll be more of what is spoken than what is written. And this is because communication in a verbal sense, it's one of the most effective mode of communication, or making sure that your message reaches out to the audience as it is supposed to reach, when it's supposed to reach. It's a real-time thing. You know, when I'm writing an email, I'll be very good in my grammar. But you see, my email or anything written would tend to hide the emotions behind it. It will tend to hide some of the factors that brings the real sense or the real picture of communication at home. But you see, when you talk about this power of the spoken word, public speaking stands out that as you grow, as you excel in your career path, you need to really understand why it's important to also sharpen your public speaking skills. And where do we apply this? You like it or not, we might think that it only starts at the point of going for an interview. Because when you're going to, public speaking, it's about being in a position to speak to more than one person, right? In a public space. And when I'm talking about public space, means a number of people can be able to see you, hear you, or get the communication that you're putting across. And that's why the word public comes in. If it's a private conversation, then public speaking does not really come in. But why do they use the word public? Because it means whatever you're going to speak across is consumable by other people. And I've had this kind of training to many people in different professions. Why did I ask you, please, just tell me like which sector of the economy you are in? Because in many of my public speaking spaces, whether it's physical or online, I've had people like the advocates of the High Court attending my sessions. And I ask them, a public of the High Court, why are you in this session? They'll tell you, Gershom, I know the law. I know how to write that document. But when it comes to arguing out a case in court, sometimes I freak, especially depending on the kind of a personality that I'm engaging here. I could be an advocate or I'm a lawyer speaking on behalf of an inferior personality in the society, but the person I'm arguing, the accused, is a high-profile person, or he has sent a very high-profile lawyer whom I really need to have the confidence to face that person. The fact that I know I'm dealing with a minister, I'm dealing with a member of parliament, then I tend to freak. And so I need to attend this session so that I can be able to know exactly how do I build the confidence that can enable me to conquer those kind of people. Okay, let me give different examples. I've spoken to students, and what is their case? Sometimes when students are presenting their projects, for example, to the board, when they're going for interviews, for example, to meet an interviewing panel, when they're looking for that job and they're being asked questions, most of them, they just do freak on the point of introduction. And I spoke to many people, the bankers and anybody who is building his profession to a point where you do write a report at some point, and you have to present this report to your seniors, to your supervisors, to the board, to a committee, anywhere. Oh, did I forget talking about in even our own social life? When Bankole is going to deliver his dowry to the next of the family from the wife's side, and he has to speak something, or whoever, if he's the chairman heading the boys in the room, and he has to speak on behalf of the suitor, you can imagine how wide public speaking is and why these skills are very important. And in just any other case, when you're in public and you have to deliver your content so it can be consumed in a manner that you generated it. Because sometimes we say good communication is where whatever is in my mind, it must be consumed in a copy-paste manner to the recipient or to the consumer of the same message. And now, if whatever content I created must be consumed by the targeted audience, it means there are some form of skills that I must put in place that will enable me to deliver in a manner that the message is consumable. So I'm just doing an introduction to all these subjects. And it has become more than any other need that public speaking is it's a universal skill that everybody must learn. Now, as we start off, so we shall be looking at a number of objectives, of course. You know, like, for example, identify what makes individuals get scared of speaking in public. You know, I've seen somebody some time back being told, like, oh, by the way, who's going to pray for us before we start our meeting? And everybody freaks out, right? Oh, you pray, and somebody is appointed to do the prayer, and then he freaks out and goes like, oh, okay, me, I cannot be able to pray. Please pray for me. You are the pastor in the office. So what does that tell you? It means even to a point of being given a simple assignment as a prayer, people freak out, right? We're also going to look at learning, learn to plan for and around the stage nerves. You know, what shall happen that I've prepared my content so well, I'm the generator, I'm the author, but the moment I'm given the stage, then all of a sudden I start sweating, all of a sudden I'm nervous, I could be trembling here and there. What causes all these things? And then we're also going to look at building communication skills through simple speaking opportunities. Now, I don't want to go into so many objectives because the time is limited, and I know I have just to punch it exactly to what was the theme of the day. So let's look at the first objective, identifying what makes you feel less confident about speaking in public. Now, these are the things we need to consider. Think of the factors that make you mostly uneasy about public speaking. What is it? And we're going to look at three areas. Number one is the body language. Number two, knowledge about the topic. And number three, keeping an audience attention. Right? What nervous symptoms have you had before or while speaking in public? And so before we even get to engage you deeper on the same, I want us to tackle that question on the second bulletin. What nervous symptoms have you had before or while speaking in public? And could I have just one or two audiences who will give me the experience and tell me exactly, okay, this is how I felt, or this is what usually happens to me whenever I'm called by my boss and I have to present a report, or whenever I'm going for an interview? Could there be anyone who could be able to open up, please? Anyone? The nervous symptoms that you have had before, or you always experience every now and then. Can I have someone to just open up to me? I'll appreciate the volunteering spirit in the room. Could there be anyone? You learn best when you give your own examples. You know, of course, I've got my own. I've been speaking for 26 years, right? So I've got a lot to put across in terms of the time I broke down, the time I was so nervous, the time all the content disappeared and I could not be able to explain anything. All these are nervous symptoms, right? Yeah, the time I could sweat, and that is the very, very day I forgot to carry my handkerchief. Okay, so what is yours? I want to hear from your end.
I know there are a lot of people here who have that. So you have to open up. You need to open up and just talk. Just share your experience with us briefly.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted the room to be so open. We are so free, and that's how I usually set up my conversation. I want everyone to be so free to speak, to engage. You know, let's pick all the weaknesses on the table and bring them out. By the time you're walking out of this room, we all have learned something and we become better people as we walk out, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay, someone is raising his hand.
Yes, Abimbola, you can talk to us.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think one that I've noticed myself is trying to use my hands to like describe what I'm saying, not able to keep my hand steady while talking.
Okay, I get you. That's a very good example. Somebody else? Nervous symptoms. When fear strikes you and you're on stage, what have you experienced in the past? What do you usually do?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
So many times, what I do experience from my own side is like I do forget the word that I want to use. I just like I didn't know. I just forget the word to use at that time.
You forget the word you use. Yes. Somebody else, maybe the last one.
This is really interesting. This is the time to talk now, because this session is really practical. That's one of the reasons I love your sessions. They are very practical. It's going to help everybody. So let me say my own too. I've had my own experience too. So one of the things I experience is I begin to sweat. So I sweat, yes.
Oh, great. I see that. Sweating. And especially the hands, the hands become wet. Yeah, I've seen that happen to so many people. Like for my case, I used to sweat, like I'll drip all over, all of a sudden, and I'm using a lot of body language, but there's nothing coming out, Yes. Anyone who has ever felt blank, like you get blank completely, you don't know exactly what to do. You don't know what to say. What makes you freak? Apart from now the symptoms, what will make you freak? I'll give you my example. In the past, in my 20s, yes, please. Go ahead. Somebody was talking?
Since he's having a network issue.
Okay, fine.
Maybe network issue.
Right, so let me continue from where we left. In many cases, let me just start by saying that it is very, very normal. If you find yourself on stage and before you realize you are sweating all over, it is very, very okay. If you find yourself trembling, a little bit of shaking, just the moment you get on stage, or you're facing a personality that is of a higher space than yours, it is very normal. It is also very, very normal to see, like, sometimes you're trying to use your gesture and nothing is coming out of your mouth. It's very, very normal. This is a body response. It's a mental response that now you are getting into a new path that you are not used to. You've just started your journey. It's very normal. Don't think you're weak. Don't think that you're inferior. No, it's a body response. It's an emotional response that now you're getting into a new task. You're giving your mind a new task. You're giving your muscles a new task. You're giving your emotions a new task. They've never faced this kind of task before. It's just the same way when you go to the gym today for the first time and you start doing those exercises. Trust me, the following day you try to laugh and your belly is paining, and you try to walk and you feel the pain of walking, and you try to lift your hands and like the muscles are complaining. Why? Because you've given them the first ever task that they've never experienced before. But guess what happens? As you continue exercising or you continue running, whatever exercise you're giving your body, on the third day, on the fourth day, the pain starts easing off, the muscle strain starts disappearing, and before you realize now your body is asking for more exercise, then you start building your muscle, then you start becoming better, then you start building your stamina. The same thing applies in public speaking. For as long as you're doing it for the first time, it will never come out perfectly. I lost words when I tried it way back. I remember that was in 2003. I lost it. And I tried to speak and nothing came out. And I was sweating. But did I stop? Of course, the response from my clients and the audience was, what kind of they called me, what kind of a nigger is this talking to us and you have nothing to present? That's exactly the kind of a feedback. But let me tell you, the desire to become an effective public speaker, the drive to become better, should be bigger than the critics around you. Because not everyone is going to tell you, you're trying it, you're doing well, next time come back more stronger. Only 10% of the people will want to encourage you. But 90% will treat you like an entertainment of a failure. I'm preparing you this in advance. Because that's exactly what I went through. But of course, I'll give you some of the factors that are going to help you to become a better person as we get started. But the areas that you're going to experience this is body language. You'll experience the kind of nervousness that you've never seen that before. And so I'll be talking about body language much more later. Then the knowledge of the topic. Make sure that you have an understanding of the content inside your mind before you project it on a paper, or before you put it on a slide, or before you put it on a PowerPoint. Knowledge. I've seen many people making a big mistake that someone else prepared the content for you. You only went to do the presentation. That's where the biggest mistake is made. Because when the knowledge is not yours, and that's the day you realize that your machine stops working. That's the time you just realize that the document can no longer open, right? That proposal that you're being given 7 minutes, and the donors are standing waiting for you. Those people who are funding the project are seated waiting, and you've been given 7 minutes, and that's the time you realize that your document is no longer opening. Or you saved the unfinished work, and you deleted the finalist one. Wow, these things do happen. It happens every single day. And so it's important that you own the content. If there's anything you're writing down, first of all, is own the content. Why did you go into the public to speak? Because you have content to deliver. So the first thing is to make sure that you own the content, and let the content come from your mind. Even if it's a document that was written on your behalf, take your time to study through, go through it, edit it, make sure you add and subtract some content, make some input, edit some areas, so that you, by so doing, even if it's someone else who prepared the document, the content for you, you are now starting to own it by editing it yourself. You're starting to own it when you write, you make extra input of content, of examples, for example, which now you can easily explain. That on the point of reading it, you can explain it for a period of time. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm doing right now, I'm public speaking. I'm talking to you in person. But the question is, why did I ask you the first question that could you be able to introduce yourself and tell me which sector of the economy or the industry you are in? Because the next thing is you need to know your audience. You need to know your audience. Whom am I going to speak to? I'm going to speak to doctors. Fine. Can you be able to cite examples of what doctors go through? That time when something has gone wrong in the theater, and you have to write a report about that patient, and you have to present that report to the board because you're the doctor who was in charge when something went wrong. What will you be able to do? So you see, I'll be giving an example of a theater because I'm talking to doctors. What about a banker? When the figures cannot be able to balance, and you seem to be having less money than what the transaction is showing, or you have more money than what the transaction is showing. When you're presenting your report to the branch manager, what explanation do you have to give? Or you're in that particular court. So what am I talking about? Before you go to deliver a conversation, you must understand your audience. I'm going to speak to students. Yes, what are students going through? Whenever I'm going to speak or I'm preparing my content, there's something I do called TNA. What is TNA? Since I'm a corporate trainer, since I speak to many people in public sector and in the private sector, the first thing before I go to train a group, I do what's called a TNA. What is TNA? Training Need Assessment. And in the training assessment, I ask the audience, why do you need the training? What are you going through? Are you experiencing skill gap? Are you lacking experience? Is it limited manpower? Tell me what you're going through. Why do you need this training? Then you realize that if this is a skill gap, then I will get a content or I develop a curriculum based on the skills that they are lacking. If it's lack of experience, then exactly, I don't have to change much in the skills they do have. They already have the skills, but what they're lacking is experience. So I have to tailor my conversation based on the audience. So getting to know your audience is very, very important. Remember, I've talked about two things. Number one is you must know your audience, right? Just a minute, give me like 30 seconds. I'm just powering the screen so it doesn't go off. Just hold on there. I'll be there. I'll be with you in the next 30 seconds, right? Okay. Think I'm back now? You can get me soundly? Yeah, I noticed that my laptop was showing the battery low, so I had just to go and fix it straight away and then make sure it's powered well. Now, yeah, so we are talking about understanding the content, owning the content. You either prepared it or someone else prepared it, but you have to own it by editing it and adding more some of the script on it so you can own it. Number two, I'm talking about you must know your audience. Whom am I going to speak to? Whom am I going to face? You must have, if you're going for an interview, for example, do I understand the company's background? What does the company do? What have they experienced? You must have applied for a particular job in a particular department. Do you have any clue about the general operational procedures of the organization? Now, there's one big elephant in the room, and is you must know yourself. Yes. Before I knew this as a point of strength, I made so many mistakes. Why? Because I didn't know myself. I did what's called a personal SWOT. And let me tell you what a personal SWOT is. Just like the word SWOT analysis, a personal SWOT is you have to understand as Gershom that I was born with specific kind of strength. Now, here is a case we're talking about public speakers. It means if you're a public speaker, if you want to go for public speaking, do you have any weakness in being in public? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? If you're an extrovert by nature, automatically it means you have good spoken capabilities. But can you imagine today I'm training you and you're an introvert? You're not good in speaking, you're not good in public, and you hate being in public, naturally. So you must know your strengths, you must know your inborn weaknesses, then ask yourself, in the SWOT, we don't just do the way we do the marketing SWOT. In the SWOT, personal SWOTing, we take the strength and ask yourself on the opportunities, what kind of opportunities can you tap in your public speaking now that you have this kind of strength? And number two, when it comes to the W, which is the weakness, there's T at the end, threats. What kind of threats are you bringing into your career? What kind of threats are you bringing in your public speaking career with this kind of inborn weakness? So that once you know now the weakness you do have, you start working on it, turning it into strength to minimize the threats. Threats could be you had a very poor presentation. Threat could be you are born with, you are a low-voiced person. You don't talk loud. You talk on a very low tone, so you can barely convince people what you're saying, even if what you're saying is true. People can barely believe in you because you speak with timidity. You speak with meekness, not because what you're speaking is weak or it's not true, but because you don't have the commanding voice, the commanding personality. So I really urge each one of us to go and do an aptitude test. Because once you know your personality, then you can be able to tell exactly where is your strength, where is your weakness, what opportunities can you tap into, and what kind of threats are you bringing into on board, so that you can be able to start working on your weaknesses to minimize your threats. so on. So I had to go ahead and do this so that I can be able now to work on myself first before I work on the content, before I work on the people and many others. Okay? Now, why the
Okay, so Mr. Garishim has been locked out, so I guess it's his network. So he's coming back very shortly. So he said something very striking, and some of these things we will revisit them later on. So do an aptitude test. Okay, try to do an aptitude test to understand yourself, and the aptitude test is something like a personality test. And if you remember, for those who started the PDT project with us, we sent a link for this personality test when we started the PDT project, if you can still remember. So maybe what we would do is to look for that link and share it with you again on the platform so you can do your personality test. So it helps you to understand yourself and better understand your personal swaps. So for those who have done it before, you might want to revisit it and be more deliberate about it. Now try to understand the kind of personality you have, so it helps you to understand your strengths and weaknesses and how to navigate your public speaking engagements. I mean, it's something everybody needs per time. You know, the speaker has supplied that. I mean, supplied that understanding to us. Everybody needs it. Whether you're a doctor, you are a nurse, you are a teacher, anywhere you work, you know, everybody in one way or the other has to speak. You know, you have to communicate with people. And I really like the first example you cited, you know, about a lawyer that approached him. You know, the lawyer knows the law. He knows the law very well, but he had to approach him. Please, I need help with my public speaking. I know the law. I know, but I need help in communicating the law effectively, especially in the law court. Okay, so knowing the law is one thing in book, then how to communicate the law, how to argue cases out effectively through communication is another thing. You know, it is possible to understand something very well, but it is another thing for you to communicate what you know effectively to people. You know? So these are two different extremes. So one of the reasons of going through this kind of training is for us to maximize our competence. You're competent in your field, you are competent in your area, your profession, you are already competent. You know banking very well, you're competent there. Now, how do you maximize your competence? So it's all about working on your speaking ability. Okay, so it's an important topic that everybody has to, you know, take advantage of. Everybody has to look into, and I think we're going to be doing we plan to do this. Hopefully, let's see how it goes next month, because next month we won't have a corporate PDT training like this until that should be in May, because it's once in 2 months. So this is March. So the next one will be in May. So, but next month, I hope there will be time for that. Next month, maybe one of the Saturdays, we have a personal meeting like this, a personal training like this, where each person would we'll do it like a follow-up to today's training, where each person will come up with a presentation. Okay, so you come up with a presentation. It's going to be a very practical platform, a very practical session that day, where we'll practice some of the things we're learning now, and then just like a practice kind of thing where you also can get better. Okay, so you prepare a presentation, if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, because I could remember one of the tradings we had then, some people talked about the fact that they want to improve their speaking ability. And also another one is about presentation skills, you know, so public speaking also entails presentation skills. Okay. Okay, so it involves presentation skills. So Mr. Gershom is getting on board very soon. So it involves presentation skills. Okay, so you have something to present, you have something to talk about, and all of that. So all these things are still part of public speaking. There are different arms of public speaking, and Mr. Gershom is going to be coming, you know, to talk to us in different modules of public speaking as time goes on. So this is just the first edition of this conference. So we definitely have more sessions like this coming up. Yeah, so let's prepare for that session. We will get more updates at the end of this session. So, Mr. Gershom, you're welcome.
Yes, you can see the kind of challenges we are having in Africa on power blackout and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I've connected the battery to an inverter to make sure I get the power, switch to the Wi-Fi, and then continue. Okay, fine. So I was just let me first of all make sure that I bring the slides back so that as I speak, we can also be able to see what I'm presenting. I'm trying to get back my slides, just a moment. Share the screen. Can it be seen? Someone just confirm that the screen can be.
Yes, sir, we can see it, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, fine. So I want to take you through the 10 steps this to reduce this public speaking jitters, right? So that at least we can become better people as we get started off, right? Number one, I was talking about, I just mentioned the first 3 key areas, but allow me now to go a bit more detailed. What we need to put in place for us to at least to conquer the fear and build the confidence. Number one is know the room. If you know where you're going to do your public speaking, if you know where you're going to go to do your interview from, if you know where you're going to pitch for your business, if you know where you keep on working every single day on day to day, get into that boardroom at some point. Be there early, arrive early and walk around the room. Why is that important? Because it gives you a sense of ownership. I've been here before. There's nothing as weak as this is my first time I'm appearing here. I don't know how these microphones are used. I don't know how to project the screen here. I don't know how to ABCD. I don't know whether the internet here is strong or it's very weak. I don't know whether my speaking aid are working or not. Know the room. You must own it. Stand up front by lectern or by the podium. Stand up in front, be there, have, feel it. Let me tell you what I usually do. I visit so many hotels, mostly 3, 4, 5-star hotels, because where I go to do my training mostly is in hotel conferences. And so I go there an evening before. I know this is where my audience will be. I go there an evening before and I study the place. I even ask myself, where will I put my laptop? Do I have room to walk around the corridors of the seats? How much space have I been given to play around with? How much stage presence should I show when I'm doing all this? So, you see, I'm already practicing, I'm already there. So when the audience is coming the following day or later after 1 hour, half an hour, I'm the one welcoming them. Let me tell you what I do. If I'm going to talk to 5 people, they have to find me there. And they all walk in differently. I'll say, hi, how are you? My name is Gershom. You're very much, are you part of the guys who are coming in for the training? Or you're in the interview panel? You're very much welcome. Can you imagine me being the one welcoming them? It means I own the place. So it helped me to kill the fear, you know. That's exactly what I work on. That's what it means by owning the room. You must know the room very well. Test out on the microphone if using one is required. Try to go, like, can you be able to adjust the volume? You know, as you speak, some of us have different voice box. How far do you need to put it? Test yourself when you're still there, so that at least if you know you are you're a lot on person, you tell the person in charge of the equipment to adjust the volume higher, because as you speak low, the amplifier will do the rest for you. Or if you speak too loud and the voice is going to be distorted, then you help them to regularize. So walk around where the audience will be seated. Walk from where you will be seated to the place where you'll be speaking. Now, that's all about owning the room. I know many of us, we are so reserved. But let me tell you, public speaking sometimes means bulldozing the space. That's the key word I want to use. And I'm using that word intentionally. I bulldoze the space. I'm a new person there, but when you come in that room, you'll think I'm the one who designed that room, right from the point of construction. You'll think I'm the one who even designed the setting of the room, because you have to own the place. Remember, if you tell me I'm going to speak for 1 hour, it means that room belongs to me. I'm the landlord of that room. Come on. I'm the owner. I'm the one who's holding the key, because the rest of you will be listening to me. So that confidence is what I need to start. You have to start building step by step through owning the room. Number 2, you must know your audience. I know I mentioned this earlier, but now let me put the emphasis on it. If I'm going to speak to the managers, what is the expectation? If I'm going to speak to the middle level managers, what is the expectation? If I'm going to speak to the low cadre of employees, what is the expectation? If I'm going to speak to students, what is the expectation? Hey guys, let me tell you, I train CEOs, I train managing directors, I train they call the general managers. But can I tell you something else? I go to kindergartens and I entertain children. Yes, I do. At some point, they're my audience. And you can guess what? I bring myself to the level of my audience, because communication is about being understood. Communication is not about speaking a lot of vocabulary and concrete statements. No, it's about delivering the message to the consumer in a manner that they'll understand the way I understand it. My professor in the university used to say, tell me that you're the perfect graduate if you can speak what you are taught by your lecturer on your 4th year and deliver the same content to a grade 3 kid in a primary school and make them understand. So what does that tell you? Know your audience. Try to greet some of the audience and chat with them. And that's why I told you earlier, I get to the room more earlier. Why? I greet them to welcome them. Friends are easier to talk to than a group of strangers. So I make each and every audience my friend. I introduce myself first. But then let me tell you something. I've used this even on the highway. When I'm driving my car and a traffic police officer stops my car, I never allow any police officer to greet me. I don't allow them to start asking for my driving license. I don't. The moment they stop me, I stop the car with confidence. I look at them directly in the eye, and I'm the one to greet them. Hey, officer, how are you doing? Hope your day is faring on very, very well. So all of a sudden, now it's the officer who is answering my questions. Now I'm in charge. You see, that's some of the skills of public speaking. You take the ownership. You control it. So by the time he's asking for my driving license, I've already built a relationship. I've already broken the ice. Now we are talking like friends. And of course, my big smile and looking directly into their eyes, they see no offense in my smiling face. They let me go. I've never been arrested for 18 years I've been driving. not because I don't have mistakes, but because I take control. So it's very important that you know your audience so you can know how to, when you want to kill a game or an animal in the jungle, you have to understand the strength and the weakness of that animal. What is his route? Which route does it follow? So you're in charge. Number 3, you must know your material. And I think I said this earlier. Research on the topics thoroughly. You better be weak in your confidence, but you are very good in your content. Because confidence is built with time. But content is something that you have to develop it and make sure you own it. So research on the topics, provide specific examples and scenarios. There's nothing as good. People love stories. For any one of you who want to become a very good public speaker, you must have stories. And in every topic, look for stories to give. A story that resonates with the topic. People understand and remember more of the lessons through the stories you gave out. Yes. So provide specific examples, have some few case studies to illustrate your point. Long time it was very hard because sometimes you have to go to a library and read so many books to get 2 stories. Read so many books to get a case example. These days, you Google anything, you ask Google any story example related to a certain topic, and they give you 29,000 examples. You choose the best one that works with you. So you guys, you have an easy time to go through. Read your materials aloud and get a feel for how it sounds as it is explained. I choose bulletins. I choose PowerPoint because a PowerPoint reminds me the whole story. There's nothing as boring as reading the PowerPoint as it is. Then why couldn't you give them the PowerPoint to go read for themselves? There's nothing as silly, there's nothing as unprofessional as you are reading word by word on your slides. And of course, I know people who are doing engineering, I know I have one in the room. Doctors, lawyers, you people, you believe in content. A lot of content on the script, on the page. In PowerPoint presentation, in public speaking, you only write a bullet point. Then, because you understand your material, you explain the whole story through one statement. People now can be able to see how much you own it and how much you understand it. Then, be mindful and monitor your speed when going over your presentation. People listen and understand differently. Don't be too fast. Do not allow your adrenaline to control you. No. Go at your pace. I look at it like I have 12 slides. Yes. How much time have I been given? 1 hour. So how much time do I have for every slide? No, the first 10 minutes is introduction. The first 10 minutes I'm building confidence. The first 10 minutes I'm building a relationship. The first 10 minutes I'm creating the mood for the talk. So I only have 50 minutes to do 12 slides. Then I know, well, I have 6 minutes per slide. And of course, I need to finish 10 minutes before to allow me for questions and answer. So you say you plan yourself and you make sure you have a small clock there to control and remind you that you're supposed to be going to the next slide. So your pace should be the same pace you started with is the same pace you finish with. So do not be rushed through very fast by speed. This usually happens when people are nervous. They want to run to finish. Remember, we do not rush through material. We are there to be understood. So go at the pace that people understand, and even you can be able to relate and be able to present as you read one bullet after the other. Number 4, learn how to relax. I don't know how you relax. There are people who do different things. I'll tell you the most common one. Have you ever realized before you go for an interview, you feel like going for a short call? Yes, I'm asking you. You realize all of a sudden you are pressed, you have to go to the washroom. It's because your mind is alert. It's adrenaline, it's in excess, it's in the blood. So you have to go and release it off. Make sure that you go for a short call before you come back into the room. It helps you to release off those excess adrenaline. You go there and you stretch out, like do some, like stretch out. So this helps you. Another thing, do not start training about, for example, today Gershom is talking about public speaking. Did you realize I spent 7 minutes not talking about public speaking? I was still just boiling up, asking you what's your name. So what do you usually do? I was taking time to own you. Yes, it was very intentional. So that the more you talk, and I'm listening to you now, I'm also preparing myself. If I had any excess adrenaline, it disappears within 3 minutes. You are talking for 7 minutes. So I have 4 minutes now to start building myself, building my confidence, and starting to do the talking. Otherwise, when you just get into the room and you start teaching straight away, you're fighting adrenaline, you're fighting material, you're fighting the presence, you're fighting the mood. All of a sudden, you don't know what to do. And there's nothing worse. Let me tell you. First impression is everlasting. I train the same in sales. I train the same in marketing. I train the same thing in public speaking. People have to feel you the first 1 minute. Yes. If you don't feel me the first 1 minute, I'll struggle finishing 1 hour. I know. It's true. If I struggle to understand you, to capture your attention in 1 minute, trust me, the whole 1 hour will be a struggle. So you do not want to be like that car engine that you have to really rest for some time, get some temperature high before it can peak on the road. No, you have to do this thing in advance. So breathe in slowly, hold your breath for about 4 to 5 seconds, and then slowly you can exhale. No, you breathe in, you breathe out. Let me also tell you how some people do it. There are many speakers who start by giving a short story. And when they're giving a short story, they ask them, like, what have you learned out of that? So that is another way of making you sure that you're already relaxing as they are doing the talking. So to relax your facial muscles, open your mouth wide, like eye wide, and then close them tightly, pause. All these are ways of killing the extra adrenaline, the excess energy, because you want to release your body from the fighting mode to a friendly mode. Because when your body is in the fighting mode, you cannot be able to deliver anything. Okay? Number 5, visualize yourself speaking. I always tell people, take advantage of when someone tells you, pray for us. Please do. Sometimes you're not just praying, you're practicing to speak before people. Do it. When they say, who will want to volunteer to speak on behalf of, please volunteer, because you are practicing. You're practicing how to speak. So whenever you get an opportunity to speak, do not hesitate. Somebody like me who has spoken for 20 years, if there's a place where they're asking who want to speak, I will be quiet because I want to hear what other people have done and what are they capable of doing. Then I take advantage of their weaknesses and I become the best speaker by speaking last. But if I'm learning how to speak and I don't know how to speak, I volunteer to make mistakes everywhere, especially on the part of volunteering. It doesn't cost you anything to say, by the way, I've never spoken before, I've never prayed before, but let me try because I want to perfect myself. Meaning you're telling the audience, if you see me making a mistake, just know I'm a learner. That's exactly what you're trying to tell the audience when you're still new. So in other words, you pronounce the weakness in advance, so when you make it, it's not a wonder. People expected it. In fact, they'll support you and tell you. It's just like being a car driver and you put the learner sticker in the front and the back. When you're slow on the highway, people will understand you're a learner, not knowing that you're just joking around with the rules. It's the same thing, right? So when you visualize yourself speaking, it prepares your mind psychologically to do the speaking. Number 6, realize that people want you to succeed. Everybody has come there not only to learn, but also to see how excellent you can also be. So people have that goodwill about you. So audiences always want speakers to be interesting, they want them to be informative, and they want them to be entertaining. Please put those 3 points down. A good speaker, you must be interesting, you must be informative, and you must be entertaining. Entertainment basically means fun. Use fun, apply fun. What is your signature as a speaker? What's your signature? Do you start your conversation with a joke? Do you start your conversation with a story? Do you end it with another joke? Do you end it with questions? What is your signature? So you must be a bit interesting. Then have the content so that you can be informative, but be entertaining, so that you can be. I've always told people, if you invite me to speak today, like I'm doing right now, whatever I'm doing right now is a pitch for the next invitation. If you find me boring, you'll never invite me again. And that's a fact. But if you find me interesting, you'll want to invite me. Maybe one of you will say, I know a speaker from Kenya. I know what he can be able to do. He can deliver very well. Why? Because you saw me doing it before. So every presentation is a pitch for the next presentation. That's what you need to understand. That every presentation you have is like a ticket for the next business you're going to get. It's like a ticket for the next conversation you're going to be invited to speak. And the more people know that you're a good speaker, the higher the value you put on your price tag. In Kenya right now, I'm paid 2,000 shillings per hour per head. That's like, say, $20 per head per hour. Because I've been speaking for years. People can go on YouTube and see me. People can go on my Facebook page and they see, I like today I spoke 5 times, different places. You mean there are no other speakers? Because sometimes it's not about what you're talking, it's about how you are delivering it. Delivery is very key. We can be 3 speakers talking about the same subject, but the delivery makes the whole difference. So make sure you understand that people want to see you succeed. So you have to keep on working extra hard to see yourself succeed. Number 7, don't apologize when you're being nervous. I see people apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start again. No, you are now killing yourself. Actually, you're putting the last nail on your coffin, on your public speaking coffin. Never apologize. That's why I say you better say, like, oh, guys, I'm so privileged and I'm so excited that this is my first time I'm speaking before an audience like yours. I know I'm bound to make some mistake, but the most important thing is the content I've prepared for you. I'll make sure from my mouth, it gets into your ear. Thank you so much. Let's get started. So you see what you've done? You've prepared these people for any mistake you're likely to make. And that's so wonderful. That's the best way to make mistakes, if you have to make one, because at some point you'll make mistakes anyway, right? So don't apologize for being nervous. Most nervousness does not show. It's only you who is conscious that I'm nervous. And so you're now amplifying it by telling people you are nervous. Never do that. It's only existing inside you. And that's why I tell people, when you're speaking to many people, don't look at their faces. Look above them. Look at the person right behind. And the person in front will think you are seeing everyone, not knowing that you're really fighting that confidence. And when I'm speaking, I face one person at a time. I speak one point facing this person. I speak the next point facing the other person. I speak the other point facing the other person, moving from point A to point B to point C. That's how you you own the room as well. So if you don't say anything, nobody may notice that you're nervous. Number 8, concentrate on your message. Sometimes we jump out of the message, we jump out of this objective, So your nervous feeling will ease as you focus your attention away from your fear. We're talking about 3 to 5 minutes. So when you're starting to talk, the 5th minute should not find you still fighting your fears. Remember, the fear is just inside you. They are not yet aware. Concentrate on your message and your audience, not on yourself. When you start concentrating on yourself, oh, I'm weak, oh, I am. When you focus on yourself, you're likely to make mistakes. Focus on the message. See the flow of the content from the introduction to the closing point to the conclusion point. Focus on the message. Number 9, turn nervousness into a positive energy. You see, the same nervous energy that causes stage fright can be an asset to you. So always harness it, transform it into vitality and enthusiasm. And the best way you can do this, as I said, start by giving a story. A story breaks the ice. Come up with a small icebreaker. Yes, sometimes you're speaking something and you're in the middle of the presentation and the content disappears. What do? Say, before you continue, I want us to do a small exercise. Trust me, as you're doing that exercise, your brain is going back to factory settings. And you find yourself now, things are going to start working and you remember what you're supposed to do. So learn to quick stress reducing routine. And that's why you talk about something like an icebreaker, right? To help you relax your shoulders, your muscle, your facial, everywhere. Then transform this energy into vitality and enthusiasm in delivering your speech. Number 10, we become better through experience. Experience builds confidence, which is the key to effective speaking. Key to effective speaking, confidence. The more you practice public speaking, the better you become. Most beginning speakers find their anxieties decrease after each speech is delivered. So make sure that you practice more and more and more and more and more. Now, some of the things you're going to learn through experience is preparation. One of the areas of preparation is how you dress. You know, today, if I dressed in an army gear, my mind is set for a fight. Today, if I dress in a kansu, my mind is prepared for prayer. If I put on a tracksuit, my mind is prepared for sports. If I put on a swimming costume, my mind is prepared to go into the waters. If I put on a shirt and a vest, my mind is prepared to relax in the backyard. So what prepares your mind to be in the public speaking space? Is it that suit? Is it that expensive shirt? Is it that jewelry that makes you feel confident and more expensive? So prepare yourself. Always make sure you have a wardrobe that prepares you for the space of public speaking. Most beginners, as I said, you know, like they find anxiety. It will reduce with the time, but more things is, as I start public speaking, I realize that I need to start changing my wardrobe. I prepare my wardrobe depending on the kind of people I'm going to face, right? So as we go to finalize on objective number 3 is building communication skills. Let me say this. Opportunities are all around. Professional example. Break down a process in your department and ask a coworker to listen to you describe it or demonstrate it. What am I trying to talk about here? I'm talking about role play. Is there a time you tell people to listen to you when you're speaking? Or just record yourself and then you listen to yourself? Or tell someone who is a genuine friend to listen to you and ask them for opinion. How did I do it? What do I need to work on? Was I using a lot of fumbling and body language? Was I stammering because I have the fear? Was I well dressed for the occasion? Please ask them, did I stand at one place like a Catholic father, never to move 1 meter away from the Bible? Or am I talking like an evangelist, moving from one end of the stage to another end of the stage? But then you also have to know what kind of a personality you are. Like for me, I move from point A to point B. Most introverts will want to stand at one place, talk when they're standing in one place, minimal gestures, and sometimes it becomes so boring. Or are you asking yourself why you go to one church and everyone is bubbling and excited, they don't realize 2 hours are over. And there's another church, within 30 minutes, everyone is asleep. Everyone is wondering, what time shall we finish this church service we go? Because the audience, the speaker way of delivery is different. So get to understand that, right? So in conclusion, there's so much you can talk about communication skills. But in conclusion, just prepare and practice. Prepare and practice. And before you realize, you'll become very perfect. Remember, he who fails to prepare is already preparing to fail. It has been said over and over and over and over, but allow me to repeat that. In public speaking, there's no guesswork. You have to prepare to go and deliver your content. And every time you make a mistake, please learn that in the next platform, work on the mistake, turning your weaknesses to become your strength. Allow me not to feed you with so much, but just to stop it there. So in case of anything, there's a question you can be able to ask me. Any question? I think I've just fed you with a fraction of what you're supposed to know. public speaking is a whole course. But if you want to take a public speaking course, it takes 8 sessions. And every session online takes 2.5 hours. So what I've just done, I've just summarized for purpose of introduction to public speaking. There's so much we can learn about public speaking. I've not told you about assertiveness and confidence development. I've not talked to you about, you know, the 7 principles of public speaking communication. But you see, for the purpose of introduction, I think we can start from there. Any question?
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Gershom. This is massive. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot personally myself. I've just been writing. My notes are full. My notes are full. I've written a whole lot. Thank you very much. Quite impactful. And
You're very
also,
much welcome.
we are also quite happy that these things are recorded. We can always go back to read, because some people also are on YouTube, watching on YouTube, and they, you know, people will always reconnect to watch these things. So thank you very much for that. I think Mr. Oluwasegun Adegusoye has a question. Yes, like Mr. Gershom said, this is just an introduction. So we definitely will be having Mr. Gershom come to you know, to continue to water this particular area with us. So this is just the first official session of it, and it's basically the introductory part of it. So we'll be having this session more often. So Mr. Gershom will take us through everything we need to know about public speaking, and by the end of it, I'm very sure everybody would definitely be better for it. Yes, I mean, it's not easy to learn from the wealth of over 26 years experience. It's no joke. I told you initially, you know, it's no joke. Thank you very much. So let's hear Mr. Oluwasegun Adegusoye's question. So you can ask your question, Mr. Adegusoye.
All right, thank you so much. And it's a very important session we've had tonight, and have a lot of things to learn from. I regularly have reason to stand before my colleagues and some managers at work, at my place of work, to present. There have been instances where someone brought up a
We are losing you.
Completely away from completely presenting, laying emphasis on some points. Hear me well? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You can continue.
Okay, so I've had situations where I need to present to some colleagues and some leading managers in my place of work. Progress, operation aside time, and I have reasons to stand every month, and then this session proved to be very important for me, so I took every part of what you said important, and I saw a lot of applications because I deal with such I deal with public speaking regularly. How do we handle situation where we have a sudden opposition, a sort of an attack? When I say attack, I mean like a sudden outburst of opposing view during presentation, and one seems to be shaking or lose control or grab. I know possibly with time, one will be able to handle it better. But there have been 1 or 2 instances when somebody just spoke up and in an outburst manner.
Okay. Right. So can I take several questions so I can be able to respond to all of them together at the same time?
Okay. Yes.
Bring it up matters, but in a way to shake the presenting number of them. My point is, how do we handle such situation? I'd like to have your response on that. Thank you so much for this time, sir.
Yeah, I got your question. Thank you so much. Let me see. Let me listen to other questions, then I can be able to respond to all, maybe in general.
Okay, perfect. So who else has another question? So just feel free to ask your question now. Maybe you've had some you've had some personal challenges before while trying to present, speak, or something. Or whatever is not clear to you in the course of the presentation, whatever, just feel free to ask your question as it applies to you. So my own question, if I may say, would be that there is this idea that people think, especially in the corporate setting, people think it's always important, or rather better to have some slides to present and follow your slide when you're having a corporate presentation like that. So what's your take about having slides to present and making presentations without slides?
Okay, that's well taken.
Yes.
Okay, is there any other question?
I don't think there's any other one for now.
Okay, fine.
Except, so if anyone has any question along the line, you can drop it in the chat room. So we'll take care of it.
Okay, fine. So allow me to start with the first question that was asked by Oluwaje. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I know, like I say, Nigeria, if there's anything you beat us in Kenya is your names. It's a scientific element or something. Yeah, but there you are. Olua, allow me to use the short word Olua. Now, how to overcome opposing views in a presentation? You know, let me tell you, we work in a very competitive world, very competitive environment, where somebody want to outshine you, someone feel like the position you've been given, that's not the position you deserve to be, is the one who needs to be there. You also have people with personalities, and I'll give an example of the choleric personalities in the room. You need to go and do more research on a choleric personality. The moment I detect a choleric personality in my presentation, in the room, among the audiences, I always try as much as possible to avoid them. Why? Because these are people with a fighting spirit. They want to prove that they are better than you. What you're presenting is inferior information than what they do have. And you see, because of that, they always tend to fight every kind of an idea you want to present forward. You've done your research, you've done your report, it's in order, but they do not get into the audience to learn any lesson. To them, they believe they know everything. So they are walking into the room to identify a mistake, an error, or a weakness in your presentation. And the only way you can be able to overcome this kind of people, there are two tools I'm going to help you with today. Number one, do your research and have your facts right. Number one. Number two, make sure you have a backup of case study. Because case study is about the happening that took place that brought success on the table. And then the other area is those kind of people who always come with opposing views. You know, most of them, they are out to outdo your presentation. I never fight them. I play psychology with them. When someone says, but I thought you said A, B, C, D, but on the other side, I always believe this and this and this can also work better. And you tell them, perfectly said. In fact, the point you've brought out, it's also another channel of achieving the same results. You know, there are different ways of killing a rat. I can choose to slaughter, to strangle, or throw it in hot water. End result is I wanted the rat to die. So you don't fight their idea. You don't fight their view. In other words, you incorporate their view into your views. That way, you diffuse their fighting spirit. You diffuse their fighting spirit. So they thought you're going to say, no, you are wrong. No. The moment you just say, no, you are wrong, now you bring the fight on the table. And guess what's going to happen? They always say, if you try to fight with a pig in the mud, you are the one who will get dirty. Pigs are used to being in the mud. They're used to being in the dirty place. And they'll go away saying, you see, I told you that guy is a weak presenter. You see, he told us nothing. So you see, they're looking for a way of making to pull you down. It could be on your workmate, your colleague, who is fighting your position. It could be someone from a different department who want to outdo you, to outshine you. So always be prepared. And whenever there's a question being asked, especially a question or an opinion that is opposing, calm down. Never raise your voice. Always be so composed so that you become now sober and choose, how do I incorporate his argument into mine? And number two, how do I rephrase my statement using case studies, examples, to make sure I reinforce what I said to stand to be true? So those two are the things, are the tools that I've always used to make sure that I work to overcome any opposing view that come my way. But remember, you have to be tactful. If someone asks you a question in the middle of a conversation, you have 30 minutes to speak, and someone asks you a question on the 10th minute, the best way you can do is this: tell them, put down all your questions. At the end of my presentation, I'll be able to answer all your questions. What are you trying to do? You are making sure that there's no interruption of your session, so that in case things go bad or they go wrong, let them go wrong on the last minute. But at least whatever you plan to present is already delivered within the time you're supposed to be delivering. After all, we create the first impression the first 15 minutes. The rest is complementing. So that's what I'll be able to help you with, my brother Olua. Now, on the second question, presentation with or without slides. Now, ask yourself, what's the purpose of a slide? The purpose of a slide is two things. Remember, it's called PowerPoint, point, not notes. It's a point. A point is meant to remind you what you're supposed to say. But a point is also supposed to help the audience to write down in short form, so that they can now listen to your story, being reminded what they wrote down on the PowerPoint. So you see, why I use PowerPoint is because you can be able to even look at my PowerPoint. Look at objective number 3. Build communication skills through simple speaking opportunities. So what are the opportunities? Why did I mention when you're told to pray, pray? When you're told to give an opinion, when you're told to give vote of thanks, those are speaking opportunities. So you see, when I see the word speaking opportunities, now I can remember to mention to you my own examples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see, PowerPoint helps me to remember what I know. But PowerPoint helps you to write down the point so you can listen to what I know and relate with it. So it makes the learning becomes more easier. Otherwise, sometimes when you have a very short time and you have a lot to deliver, forget about PowerPoint. You just write, you have a notebook like this, right? And then you write your points down on a piece of paper. So you put your PowerPoints on paper and then you are speaking. So you focus more on people listening to you, making sure you're audible, you're using body language, you're engaging people as you conclude whatever you've written down on your piece of paper. So either way you can. But if you need people who have to see to believe, then when they see a slide, they believe. There are people who don't hear and believe. They want to see. We have learners who learn better by seeing, others who learn better by listening. So why it's important to have a PowerPoint is to help those who cannot be able to learn before they see. Otherwise, by the way, there's a time I train with pictures. I train with pictures. I don't write any word anywhere. And I'm training for 2 hours and people are laughing, people are learning, people are asking questions, and I'm using pictures because I use an animal, for example, to remind me about a lesson, and I'm done with it. You know, when I want to train about speed and I display the picture of a horse, I'm done. When I want to talk about lazy people, people who are slow, and I'm displaying a tortoise, I'm done. And people laugh, you know. When I talk about, I display a photo of a tortoise, and I say some of us are, we always coming to work late. You see, I'm talking about time management, but I'm displaying a tortoise. And I say, look, that's how slow we come to work. And I display a photo of a cheetah, and I put there 5 in the evening. This is how fast some of us want to leave office and go home. You know, are we not happy with what we're doing? So you see, sometimes PowerPoint is for the purpose of just reminding you of the lesson and deliver the point home. Otherwise, I think those 2 questions are well answered. Could there be any cropping up?
It's perfect for me. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect.
From this side, I think the backup power might go off anytime. So yeah, if you can wind up for me, I'll appreciate.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gershom. Thank you very much. It's been an amazing day, and I also want to believe Mr. Oluwasegun Adegunso, you also got that answer. I know he's been following the training since we started back to back. He got locked out by poor network, came back, went out in and out. So I really appreciate the fact that people have been blessed. But I mean, we've been impacted personally as a community and also individually, and also people on YouTube are also watching, and those who will revisit and watch over and over again. So thank you very much for this wealth of experience with us. And of course you heard him when he was saying that 1 hour it trades for 2,000 Kenyan shillings. That's about 30, is it $20 or $30? So for 1 hour.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can imagine how much each person, and that's per head for one person.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can imagine you attending this kind of training, you can imagine how much you would have been paying for this kind of meeting. So we really want to appreciate that sacrifice you've made today to to cover this time. And I also understand it's already night in Kenya. Kenya is 2 hours ahead of Nigeria. So
yeah, it's 11 o'clock. It's heading to midnight.
Yes, 11 midnight. So you can see the sacrifice. So we are really grateful for this sacrifice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure having you. Thank you very much. And we hope to see you next Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be bigger. So Mr. Gershom is coming to the general book community next Saturday. So don't miss it next Saturday. Thank you very much, Mr. Gershom. Thank you very much.
Okay. I do appreciate. Okay. It was nice having a conversation with my brothers and sisters from Nigeria. Hope one day I'll be able to visit you guys again. The last time I was in Nigeria, I was in Lagos, a place called Gutad Abiola Street. Those sides, you know, I can't even trace the place. But yes, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Hopefully this kind of trainings we still have by God's grace. On a long term, we have this kind of conferences on ground, so definitely there will still be occasions to come to Nigeria. Yeah,
yes,
we would love to host you in Nigeria. And I've been
in Kenya,
we met in other places, so hopefully we'll meet in Nigeria too someday. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I do appreciate.
Thank you very much. So
okay, fine.
So see you next Saturday.
Okay, see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So thank you everyone for being part of this training tonight. I know there's a lot of network challenge in Nigeria, and I think Africa generally. I think there's a challenge with network in Africa generally. I know people have been having troubles in and out. So that's well understood, and that's why the YouTube is always a backup. You can always go back to watch over and over again to catch up.
Yeah, and make sure you send me the link as well, so I can be able to have it in the archive.
Okay, sure. Yes, I will do that. I'll do that. So thank you very much. And like we said, so we are likely going to be having a follow-up session next month. So let's see how that goes. But Mr. Gershom is going to be coming again to continue this session with us. So like I said, this is just an introduction. There are a whole lot of things to learn about public speaking, and this is one of the reasons I love his sessions too. Yeah, quite practical, practical sessions that you know, tailor-made for each profession, tailor-made for each individual, and everybody gets blessed at the end of the day. So you don't want to miss any of these sessions. So we'll get the update. And also he gave like a kind of an assignment at the beginning of this project. We introduced it also to the community, the personality test. So he said do an aptitude test. So or do you have any specific counsel about that?
Yeah, what I can do is next time when I'm coming, I'll come with a link which I can be able to share, and then whatever results it gives you, we can share back, so I can be able now to help you understand your personality, which can also help you understand which area of strength you need to build yourself on, where is your weakness, and what can you be able to do to overcome that weakness, so you can now perfect yourself in public speaking. The person talking to you right now, I was very shy by the age of 22 years, too shy, I could not do anything. But you see, I had to work on my weaknesses, and by the time I was getting to the age of 26, I could be able to speak. Right now, I can speak to a stadium. So once you realize your weaknesses, then it becomes easy for you to work towards your strengths.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. We really appreciate that link. We really appreciate it, so that it will be a kind of follow-up to the training today, so that we have practical results going forward. So thank you very much for that also. So that's one of the things we're expecting in the next session. And maybe you can share the link with us, and maybe people can do it before the next event or something, so that next event, it makes it easier for you to maybe to start from there or something. But whichever way you want it is also fine. So if you want to share it during the event, it's also fine. So but I just wanted to pick that up, so that we don't.
Yeah, what I can do, I can also share it with you in advance, so you can be able. But no, I want it for participation purposes. Let it come on the day when we are all together.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, so that others don't say, I've already gotten what I wanted, let me go, I don't have to come.
Yeah. So it will be done on that day. Yeah. So we share it that day, and then everybody will get to do that. So thank you very much. And also thank you, everyone. So this is also an extension to let remind you of the event of coming up next Saturday, same time. So you want to share the link with people. Registration is very important, and it's free, but we need to have your data. So do well to register. It's completely free, but you have to register for next Saturday's event, which is free. So do well to register, share it with other people, and let as many as possible attend. It's a broad, we're going to be addressing broad topic, broad subject that borders on career progression. So it's a whole lot. Everybody needs that. So thank you very much, and we'll be wrapping it up here, and then we'll call it a day. So we meet next Saturday. Thank you very much, and thank you, everyone. So see you next time.